The art of happiness. Most people chase happiness like it's a destination, like one day they'll arrive. When I get the money, I'll be happy. When I find love, I'll be happy. When I move out, when I glow up, when I finally win, then I'll be happy. But happiness doesn't work like that, because if you don't learn how to be happy now, you won't suddenly become happy later. You'll just become successful and still empty, rich and still restless, loved and still insecure. And that's why this message matters. Because happiness isn't something you find. It's something you build. It's an art. And like every art, it must be practiced. 1. Happiness starts with acceptance. Not settling, not giving up. Acceptance. Because a lot of people are unhappy, not because their life is terrible, but because they're fighting reality every single day. They keep replaying what happened. They keep wishing it didn't happen. They keep bargaining with the past. If only I chose differently. If only I didn't trust them. If only I started earlier. If only I was smarter. But listen carefully. The past can't be edited. It can only be learned from. Happiness begins the moment you stop fighting what already happened and start building what can happen next. Acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is strength. Because it means you are finally facing the truth, and people who face the truth can move forward. 2. Happiness is a skill, not a mood. This is where most people get confused. They think happiness is a feeling, so they keep chasing a feeling. But feelings change. Some days you feel unstoppable. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel heavy. Some days you feel like nothing makes sense. That's human. But happiness is not supposed to be constant excitement. Happiness is stability. It is the ability to return to peace, the ability to reset your mind, the ability to recover from the bad moments without losing yourself. That is happiness, not a perfect life. A trained mind. 3. Happiness doesn't come from getting more. It comes from needing less. Most people think happiness comes from adding more money, more attention, more followers, more relationships, more validation. But the happiest people are not always the ones with the most. They are the ones with the least internal chaos. They don't need to prove something every day. They don't need to win every argument. They don't need to impress everybody. They are free, and freedom is happiness. The art of happiness is learning what matters and letting the rest go. 4. Happiness requires gratitude. Not fake positivity, real gratitude. Let's be honest. Some people use gratitude like a mask. They pretend everything is fine. That's not what I mean. Real gratitude is simple. It's recognizing what is still working, even while you're rebuilding. You're still here. You still have breath. You still have a mind that can change. You still have time to improve. You still have a chance. Gratitude doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means you're not blind to what is still possible. And that's powerful. Because when you focus on what you still have, your mind becomes stronger. And strong minds create better lives. 5. Happiness requires discipline. Yes, discipline. This is going to surprise some people, but it's the truth. Happiness is not built by comfort. Happiness is built by discipline, because discipline creates self-respect. When you do what you said you would do, you trust yourself. When you keep your promises to yourself, you feel powerful. And when you trust yourself, life feels safer. Many people are unhappy because they don't trust themselves. They keep breaking their own word. I'll start tomorrow. I'll stop that habit. I'll be consistent. I'll change. Then they don't. And every time you betray yourself, you lose peace. But when you become disciplined, your inner world becomes stable. That's happiness. 6. Happiness is choosing the right people. Because energy is contagious, happiness is not only internal. Your environment matters. The people around you matter. Some people drain you. They criticize your growth. They compete with you silently. They smile, but they don't support you. And you can't be happy living in an environment that keeps poisoning your peace. The art of happiness is learning to choose peace over popularity. Choose friends who uplift you. Choose conversations that build you. Choose spaces that sharpen you, because your mind absorbs what you surround it with. Happiness comes from purpose, not pleasure. Pleasure is temporary. Purpose is lasting. A lot of people confuse entertainment with happiness. They chase pleasure to escape stress, food, drama, scrolling, shopping, random dopamine. But after the pleasure ends, the emptiness comes back. That's why people keep repeating the cycle. The art of happiness is building purpose. Waking up with something meaningful. Something you're working toward. Something you're becoming. Purpose makes pain easier to carry. Purpose gives suffering a meaning. Purpose gives discipline a reason. And when your life has meaning, happiness becomes deeper. 8. Happiness is the ability to be present. This is the real secret. Many people are unhappy because their mind is never where their body is. They are eating, but thinking about stress. They are working, but thinking about failure. They are with family, but thinking about money. They are resting, but thinking about guilt. Their mind is everywhere, and happiness can't live in that kind of noise. Happiness lives in presence. One moment at a time, one breath at a time, one step at a time. When you learn to be present, life becomes lighter. Not because life is easier, but because your mind is not carrying tomorrow and yesterday at the same time. Final perspective. Happiness is not something you wait for. It's not what happens when life finally becomes perfect. It's what happens when your mind becomes trained, when you stop fighting reality, when you stop chasing validation, when you stop needing everyone to understand you. Happiness is peace, and peace is built daily through acceptance, gratitude, discipline, purpose, presence. This is the art. And once you learn it, you stop begging life to make you happy. You start building happiness from the inside. And that's unbreakable. If you're still watching, this wasn't background noise for you. Something in this message connected. Most people leave the moment. Truth asks them to change. You stayed. Before you scroll away, don't let this moment fade. Mark it. Go to the comments and write, "I'm preparing for what I want." Not for views, not for anyone else. For the version of you that looks back one day and remembers exactly when things shifted. When you write it, you turn listening into intention, and intention into direction. People who mark moments like this don't drift back to who they were. If this message gave you clarity, support it with a like so it reaches the right minds. Share it with someone who's been stuck but ready. Subscribe if you're serious about building mental discipline daily. Turn on notifications so you don't miss messages meant to sharpen your thinking. This is Unbreakable Mentality Motivation, built for the mind that refuses to quit. Thank you for being here.